Welcome to the Off Kilter podcast, Ep.4.
How are you guys doing, man? Thanks, audience.
They're not going to answer. This is a Dora the Explorer.
Click the map icon on the screen. Wow. I mean, that's what you remember. That's what they did in Nora. You know?
Yeah.
You think we could put an interactive thing on the screen?
I'm not going to.
Oh, okay. No, Danny's not going to.
Danny's not going to. Yeah, Danny. All right. Anyway, on today's episode, we're gonna follow up a little bit on the last episode, talk a little bit about that, but mainly, we're gonna do some hypotheticals, some riddles, and then we'll see where we go from there.
I'm pretty bad at riddles, not gonna lie. I'll get caught up on some stupid logic loop, and it just doesn't work.
I feel like you can figure out most riddles.
I mean, I could figure it out if I like sit down and genuinely think about it for a while, but like we don't have time to just be like, It's, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, on the follow-up he's talking about. Now, we weren't exactly able to figure out most of what we were talking about last time. Like the Illuminati, yes. The Illuminati subject we were discussing before.
Yeah.
But we did kind of figure out the name of the cult that Wesley was talking about before.
Yeah, the one where I know I had heard somewhere that a guy had a dream and he met like Jesus and Buddha in the same thing, and that is the Aetherists Society.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounded weird.
The
yeah.
Aetherists Society, apparently.
Aether is such an interesting word. Have you heard that before?
I have.
Yeah.
I mean, not often.
Yeah, it's usually something you hear in like a fantasy video game, though. It's like the man was lost in the aether.
Yeah.
Yeah. It always and then there's like ether, which is like if you've ever played Pokemon, that's like what you use to restore moves.
It makes me think of Call of Duty Zombies and the storyline where like Samantha was in the ether.
Really?
Yeah. The storyline for Black Ops Zombies was pretty complex.
You see, I don't remember any of it.
I remember it.
I just remember a lot of the weird stuff from like playing them over time.
Yeah.
Like in 5, there's that like Juggernaut suit or whatever that runs after you.
Being the weapon thief?
Is that his name? I didn't remember.
The guy that steals your weapons?
I remember some really big guy chasing you. Was it just the weapon thief?
He was the Pentagon thief was his name.
Oh, okay.
And then there was other bosses. I don't know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
But
oh, it's the one on the lighthouse map in the cold.
Oh, yeah, it was he was a director. What's his name?
I think so. I don't know his name. There's a lot of
it was like George something.
That's such a threatening name. George is going to get you.
Based off an actual director.
Yeah. I don't know. But point being, we did some follow up on that, and apparently that's the cult in the name of it.
Yep.
Yeah. But
anyway, now we're gonna do hypotheticals.
Sure, why not? Let's go ahead. We're gonna pull them up on the computer screen over here, and we'll have one of us read it.
All right. We're gonna start off with: would you rather forget who you were or who everyone else was?
Oh, take it away. You got it.
Take it away. I think I'd rather forget who everyone else was.
Yeah.
Why'd you say it like so emphatically?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just...
But anyway, I think like mainly because most of the people that are important, I would like refigure out who they are. I guess because like I'm not assuming that you just like have no chance of remembering them. I'm assuming that like I would walk around my house and find my family and like be like, "Who are you?" And they'd like tell me, you know.
Yeah, but that would have to like crush their soul. Like your own son walking up to you being like, "I don't remember anything about you."
Well, I mean, it would hurt, but it wouldn't.
I guess they'd know, you know.
Yeah, they would know that you forgot everything.
I guess. Well, is this like a spontaneous thing? The question doesn't exactly say.
Yeah.
Because if you had like a car wreck, and you know that's different, and then you're like, who?
Well, I'm thinking it's just like you wake up one day and can't remember who anyone is.
That would be awful. Yeah. I guess you wake up one day and not remembering who everybody else is wouldn't be as bad as not remembering who you are.
Which has happened to people.
What do you mean?
Like, there's been stories of people having traumatic accidents and, like, having complete amnesia and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Dude, amnesia is terrifying when you think about it. Like, there's so many strange things that can come from that. Like, I know in this situation, I'd rather forget who I was. Like, that's just the way I would think about it. I mean, think about if I remember all the people in my life, I could maybe like piece myself back together.
Right.
Obviously, they're going to have some kind of skewed depiction of me, like X would say blank, Y would say Z. It's just like, maybe I could like piece all that together and be like, no, I don't think that's true. You know what I mean? Assuming I still have like my intelligence, I guess.
Yeah. I think the concept of like complete amnesia as a Christian, it has a lot of weird implications that like I'm not sure how, like, no matter the answer to those implications, they would be very mentally
strange,
taxing. Like,
yeah,
it would very much crush my morale.
But I almost feel like it could arguably make you a better one.
Yeah, I can see you coming out on the other side of it as a better Christian.
Yeah, you could be like, hey, because a lot of people, especially in the South, a lot of them are, for lack of a better word, pressured into believing just from familial pressure or like group.
Right.
So maybe if you came back to find it again, without that pressure, it would be a stronger bond because this is your choice rather than.
Right.
But that all depends on how you get reintroduced.
It's true. It's true. I mean, because definitely you would figure out, like, in this saying that we forgot who we were, you'd definitely figure out, like, where you would go. Like, you would, like, hey, I went to church, I went to school here, I live here. You would figure that stuff out through time.
Yeah.
Like, probably pretty quickly. But then the whole thing of, like, not remembering, like, how you got saved and how you came to find faith and, like, when you made that decision and how you went about it, that
would kind of destroy it.
That's a big mental hurdle to get through. But I do agree that if handled correctly, you could come out stronger. Just like any struggle in life.
Yeah. And that also brings the other question, though. I mean, like, if you forgot yourself but remembered everybody else, you could remember, I met all of this, like, I guess you'd still qualify them as your friends if you remember them. You'd be like, I had all my friends at this one school, therefore I must have gone to this school. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more you could gain from doing it that way too.
And then back to the Christianity questions, like, if you forgot yourself, would you still remember your relationship with Jesus that way? Or if you forgot everybody else, would you remember your relationship with Jesus?
Yeah, because
which category does that fall under? Or the relationship with the Holy Spirit, I should say.
Yeah.
But, like, in which instance do you forget, and which instance do you remember?
Yeah, because if you forget everyone else, that's like saying you forget every man, and there's also the argument that God is both God and man, so he's, it's like there's a whole...
Would you just forget the Jesus part of the Trinity?
Oh, interesting.
That would be weird.
And then if you forgot yourself, you could forget the God part of it because you wouldn't know, like, that's a part of it.
Yeah, but you would remember the Jesus part. That would be weird.
Yeah. That is interesting.
That's a weird theological discussion.
So then would you think Jesus was crazy? Because if you forgot the God part of it, then you just know Jesus as a man who claimed he was a God. No, you know what I'm trying to get at. Like, I said that weird, but...
Yeah, it would... Would that mean you would only remember bits and pieces of the Bible either way?
New Testament, Old Testament. You forget everybody else. You're basically Jewish. I mean,
yeah, that's an interesting theological discussion.
But would you be Jewish? Because if you remembered the Holy Spirit...
Yeah, I mean...
It's interesting. I like this question.
As, like... I feel like you'd still remember the God part of, like, in the Bible Belt, like, it's... Even when we study the Old Testament here, as a church... and as a doctrine, it's very well known that this is pointing to Jesus.
Yeah.
But, like, would you just be like, hey, I know this is supposed to get me somewhere. I just don't know where it's going.
It's like you forget your whole town.
I feel like either way, you just end up having to reread the Bible.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, fill in a bunch of blanks.
Who cares? No way, that was phrase weird. You know what I mean? Just like, who cares which part of it you forget as long as you relearn it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, as long as you... Like, say, hey, I need to... There's some pieces missing in this puzzle.
Well, I mean, I guess you'd be feeling that way all the time, so it wouldn't be that bad. You'd be like,
Yeah, but very interesting discussion.
If you forgot yourself, would you recognize yourself in a mirror?
Well,
like, would you have the whole, like, animalistic response where you'd be like, oh, hey, Or like,
Are you saying like
think about
you would walk into the bathroom and be like, who's that?
Yeah.
And then you're like, why is he moving at the same time as me?
I think you would piece together, hey, that's me, because you're still intelligent.
I feel like you'd pick up on it pretty quickly.
You wouldn't be like those.
You would know what a mirror is.
Yeah. Have you seen those videos where they put a mirror in the jungle and like the gorillas, like every animal like freaks out except for like the monkeys. They walk up to it, they're like, woo-hoo. You know, they kind of wave at it and stuff, but the gorillas like freak the crap out.
Well, I mean, like even cats will like look in their reflection and be like.
But like I thought it was interesting the gorillas didn't though. Like they punched the glass, like they were punching it. But it's just kind of like you would realize it, but you would be shocked by what you were seeing probably.
Yeah.
You know?
Would you be happy or sad when you saw yourself?
Probably sad. No. So you wouldn't have that acceptance of what you looked like, you know?
Or would you?
I don't know. That's the interesting thing. I guess it all comes down, like, if you forgot yourself...
How much would your personality change when you forgot yourself?
Probably all the way. Like, let's be real here. Like, assuming your personality is shaped by a lot of your past memories. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you kept telling me who I was, that's only so good. Right. You probably lose morals, like, completely. Because, I mean, your past determines your morals, more or less. Like, you learn from certain situations.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, like, I don't know. It's weird to think about. Like, right now, I see $20 on the side of the road, right? Well, bad example. You used to watch somebody drop $20 on the side of the road.
Yeah, you see them drop
You see them drop it, not just there, right?
Yeah.
You'd be like, okay, this is his. Go give it back, right? Mm-hmm, but if you don't have any, like, prior response of, like, your parents being like, return, you know, whatever, I would probably just pick it up and take it. I mean, like, I wouldn't even know. You know, I wouldn't think...
You wouldn't think twice.
Yeah, it's like, this is his. He need, you know?
Yeah, well, that brings into, like, nature versus nurture. How much are our morals determined by just the law we're forced to live under? That kind of... Yeah. Those kind of questions.
I'm definitely more of a nurture thinker. Now, I realize there's obviously some innate things in people.
I think most is nurture in regards to a lot of that.
Because, I mean, if I grew up in a country with completely different morals, I wouldn't be who I was.
Exactly.
I probably still do some of the same things, but obviously not all of them.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to think about, like, what morals are innate, if any, you know.
I don't think any are.
You know.
Being like, real, like...
Someone raised completely in a vacuum, would they still think murder's wrong, you know? Or
that might be animalistic, though, because, like...
Exactly,
you
that's
don't,
what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, you see monkeys kill each other, but that's, like, different tribes.
Yeah, I mean, like, elephants, like, mourn their dead or whatever.
Yeah, and don't they, like, push them in a river? I think some of them they push in, like, a river, and there's elephant grave sites, like, at the base of a lot of rivers.
I have no idea.
Something like that. But, like, it's weird to think about.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because I know cannibalism is, like, innately considered wrong. Like, that's not something we're taught.
Yeah.
You see somebody that's dead, your body immediately goes, something's wrong here. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's... I almost argue that funerals are something we're taught to have.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, you know...
Yeah, I feel like there's, like, an animalistic concept of life, death, murder is wrong. Like, stuff like that's you know, murder. I'd say life, death, murder, cannibalism. I would say a lot of that's probably innate. Like, you're born with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think grieving's innate, but I think, like, the ritualistic, quote unquote, side of things we do, you know, like, think about how weird it would be if a bunch of monkeys, like, built a wooden box and shoved their dead in it and buried it in the ground. You know, like, we would be like, oh, you know, they're becoming more advanced or something, but when you think about it, that's really weird, you know? It's like...
Yeah, that's man-made.
Yeah. I mean, I remember reading something about primates. Like, a bunch of them are now in the Stone Age, which I thought was interesting, you know. But they were starting to make, like, burial rites, almost. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if they bury them, but I think they put, like, rocks in a certain stack at the places where they died. Mm-hmm. I was like,
That kind of makes me want to segue into the question of, like, is there outside of religion and government, is there any reason to follow morals? I would say no.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the entire concept of anarchism, is it not?
I thought it was just, like, do whatever you want.
Well, that's what you
kind
do.
Of the same thing.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not necessarily don't have any morals. It's, like, do whatever you want kind of thing.
I don't. That's
But there are definitely people who would argue there's reasons to follow morals outside of religion and government. I'm just not one of those people.
I don't either. I was about to say, if I had no compulsory reason to do so, why would I behave right? Because no one else will.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
I mean, at that point, you're just in the game of life for your own benefit.
Yeah, that's just like there's the human reaction. Like, let's say there's a group of 60 people, and then you see somebody, like, one of them pulls a gun on another one. You're like, oh, there's 58 other people here. They'll do something.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is really interesting, by the way. Like, I forget what it's called. I'm going to call it group responsibility. It was something like that.
That sounds right. I don't know.
It's something worded like that.
Well, it's similar to, like, me and Garrett know a guy who either used to be or still is an anarchist.
Oh, we talked about him before.
Oh, we have?
Yeah.
Well,
his name was Daryl or something like that.
We'll call him Daryl. But one time I had the discussion with him. It's like, well, what if somebody were in an anarchist society and someone murders somebody?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, they'll just murder him back.
Yeah, it's like the entire concept of that. I don't like it.
Oh, it doesn't work.
Because then you just have a whole murder chain. And
yeah,
it's like
if you've ever watched Naruto, it's like the cycle of hatred. It never ends.
All right, we're getting to...
It's true, though.
I mean, you're right. I mean, fear leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering, man. You just gotta snip the bud somewhere.
I thought it was nip it in the bud.
It doesn't really matter. It's just the same concept. It is nip, but it's the same. Yeah. But, like, I just... There's just so many things about people I don't understand. Like, why am I... Like, I understand I would, but why am I less likely to help somebody in need if there are other people around? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I feel... yeah, I mean, there's a ton of stuff we don't understand.
It's called shared responsibility, I think. Sorry,
I have no idea.
It was
like, that's kind of like the whole field of psychology for you.
I mean, yeah.
That's why you're going into psychology.
Like I said, I want to understand people, but still, it's just...
You're supposed to figure this stuff out, man.
Well, I mean, I'm paying to do that, so I might as well. What about that?
Yeah.
What do you think about that second question there?
If you could really sell your soul to the devil, what would you sell it for?
A golden fiddle.
Stop.
That is a reference to a good old song.
I would not sell it.
But, like, it says could. I thought it said, like, would.
If you had to.
If you had to.
Do we want to change it to you
Sure.
have to?
If you have to.
If you have to sell your soul to the devil, what do you want in exchange for it?
Yeah, ticket to heaven.
Huh? That would. I don't think he has those. I would say.
It'd have to be something earthly, surely.
I would say make sure he doesn't take any of the people that I'm close to's soul.
Why not just say everybody's?
Well, if I could say everybody, I feel like that's too much to ask.
That might be too. I mean,
if I could say that, I'd say that.
He'd probably like extra torture you, though. Assuming the devil's in charge of torture. You know what I mean?
Assuming that. That'd be fair. I'd be willing to take that.
I think my selfish nature says I wouldn't do that. Like, I'm not...
We can change... To make you feel better, we could change it to it has to be selfish if you want.
No, I meant, like, me going to hell preventing everybody else from... That's, again, my selfishness.
Well, I definitely wouldn't want to, but we're saying...
That's why I'm saying I wouldn't want to. That's why I'm like,
I don't think anybody would want to.
Yeah, it's like, they could put in their own work.
Yeah.
But it would be a noble thing to do, but you still don't have your soul, so, I mean, you're going to hell anyway.
Yeah.
Like, what's God going to do? Give you another soul? He's...
kind of screwed.
Yeah, he's got limitless power. It's not like he could give you another one or something.
Well, I think the whole thing is he wouldn't. He just... Not that he couldn't, but he wouldn't.
I know. I'm just being funny. You know what I mean? It's just like, well... I don't know. Here's the thing. If you sell your soul, you're basically damning yourself, right?
Absolutely.
So, I would probably... Like, I don't like the concept of never dying.
Mm-hmm.
But I would probably sell it to where I would at least not die till Earth was gone.
So you'd say...
I would not want to die until all other humans have died.
Yeah, like the sun's heat death.
What do you mean?
Like when the sun stops being the sun.
Sure.
And
Actually,
the Earth is no longer inhabitable.
Well, I wouldn't say that, because what if I live long enough that we, explore and we spread out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I say till the Earth is gone, that's a whole monkey's paw thing, and like the Earth gets exploded in some kind of rebellion or whatever, and I'm on like planet Venus.
That happens in Doctor Who, I think. The Earth blows up.
I don't remember that, but okay.
Yeah, it does.
Really? I mean, he has time machine, you know.
He has time machine.
Yeah, it's like he's fine. But you see what I mean? I'd rather not do that because that could like screw you over if you move to another planet and then Earth blows up and you just fall over and die on that planet. You're like, well,
yeah, that's true. I think we just shouldn't sell our soul to the devil.
Yeah.
I think that's the conclusion here.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. You know,
if you find a book and begin to read only to discover that it is your life, you get to the point where you are now. Do you turn the page knowing that you will not be able to change the events to come? That's an interesting question.
well, I mean, it doesn't matter. If you can't change the events that are going to happen, does it matter if you read it?
Well, it's like saying, would you want to know what happens?
Yeah, no,
You'd
I
be
get
spoiling your own story.
that. Yeah, I mean, I'd maybe read the last page.
You'd read the last page?
Maybe, and it's like, if it was like he dies horribly and alone, you know, and I'd be like, well, you could just kill yourself then. You die horribly
what if
and
you
alone.
can't change it? It says you can't change it.
I know.
So then you couldn't kill yourself.
No, I mean, if I killed myself right now, I'd die horribly and alone.
Oh.
You see what I mean? It's just like, I don't.
That would be weird. Like, you flip the last page and it says you kill yourself at this date right now.
Well, then I guess at that point, that means you were so overburdened with the knowledge of the fact that you were told you were going to kill yourself, that you kill yourself.
You were you got so anxious thinking about reading the last page of your book that it made you kill yourself, and then you read that you kill yourself. That would be
yeah.
That's like some Final Destination stuff.
Yeah, or like, imagine you read something very strange about yourself, and it's like Wesley and his 15 Japanese children, and you're just like, what?
That is not in my book, I promise.
You know what I mean, though. It's just like you find something very strange.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to read my book. I might be tempted to read the last page, but I wouldn't want to like spoil everything
It'd be fun
else.
to just like flip to random pages and be like, well, what happens now?
Does it have pictures
Oh, no. I don't know if I'd want pictures.
of you? It's
Yeah.
your book.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
You could see it if you really get in shape later.
yeah, what if you just are fat and old? I mean,
like,
actually,
oh.
fat and old is not a bad way to go.
I mean, if you at least you live to be old.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible thing. Oh,
If you were really a robot, would you want to know?
dude, that means I'm like the best robot ever made.
Oh,
I mean, I'd want to know. Because, like, imagine
Yeah.
like, in the future, you're trying to, like, you're with your wife, and you just can't. Right? I mean, that's a weird way to put it, but, like, a lot of people want to have kids one day. And if you're a robot, you couldn't have kids.
you want to mentally prepare yourself? that
Yeah,
you
I
can't
mean,
have kids.
It's basically like telling you, hey, you were the last one of your kind. You are different from everyone else. You know, it's like, you get what I mean, right? Not the last one of your kind.
I was like, yeah, that's what I was like confused.
You were the
about.
only model.
You're the last robot.
Yeah. What if they said you weren't the
So
only
would
model?
that mean
though?
everybody else is robots, or you're the only robot?
Well, I'm thinking just you or me
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
situation.
You're the only robot. Would you rather get uglier or dumber? That's kind of a
Uglier.
I would
Easy.
rather get uglier. Uglier.
Uglier. It sounds like you chose dumber. All right, what else we got?
If you could choose between 50 years of incredibly happy life or live forever and be unhappy, we've already 50 years of happy life.
Yeah, like easily. Why would I want to never die and just be unhappy?
Mediocre.
Yeah, it's like, I hate my
If you
life.
could learn any one skill in the world without trying, like Matrix-style learning, which would you pick?
Okay, so you could either be cheesy about this and say a specific thing, or you could say the ability to learn faster.
Yeah.
You see what I'm getting
Yeah.
at? Like,
I feel like let's do it where we don't choose the system and don't be like instruments. Like
no,
like you just learn all of them. And
if we have
it's
to be
also-
specific, I'd just say Russia. Like that. Just
Yeah,
be,
I was
yeah,
thinking,
it's
like,
you open
just-
yourself up to a lot more.
just be like instantly amazing at Japanese.
As long as it didn't limit your English skills.
No,
I know it's Matrix
Yeah.
style, but like
I wouldn't think so.
you get what I mean. It's like,
You'd be just as good as everything else as you are now.
yeah, I think that would be really interesting though. Like you could go to another country basically with this ability.
And
Obviously, you have to choose the second most popular. Am I cutting you off? I'm sorry.
No,
You looked very agitated.
I would.
Oh, well, you'd
blankly
obviously try
staring.
to pick either your favorite language or the second most popular.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I guess for us, since we already speak English, you'd want to learn Mandarin or Chinese of some sort.
Yeah, top 3 Mandarin, Spanish, and English.
Really? I thought it was Mandarin, English, Spanish.
Well, I wasn't saying them in order.
Oh.
I just said the
You're
top
just
3.
speaking, yeah. Because, like, I feel like for us, since we speak English, Spanish wouldn't be that hard to learn.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to go a language and I was going to do it logically, the logical choice I think would probably be Mandarin. And then, because I'm learning Japanese, and like if I was just doing it, I want a fun skill, I'd just instantly be amazing at Japanese. But if I was doing it like saying, what's the most efficient, I would definitely do Mandarin.
Yeah.
And then just keep learning Japanese like I am now.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. You could choose something. I was just thinking of the lazy way, just like have it,
Yeah.
I guess, well, if that's the case, I'd probably, Mandarin or Spanish maybe,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I could, if I hunkered down for a year or two, I feel like, and I really wanted to learn Spanish, then I could. I mean, not like trying to like poke my chest out, but like.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people could, they just don't think
Yeah.
they have the ability to.
Yeah, it's the same thing with like people who say, "Oh, I could never sing," or like as a musician, you'll play something and be like, "Oh, you're so talented." It's like, no, I just
Put in the
I
work.
just worked.
Yeah, it's like I tried.
I just like practice all the time.
Yeah,
You know?
I know exactly what you mean. There's a lot of stuff that people think they aren't able to do, and that's just because they don't try.
Exactly.
It's like, dude, just
Kind of sad.
it is. I mean, that's just the way the world is, and especially in the United States.
True.
Like we don't have, for lack of a better word, collectivism. Like we don't support each other. It's you're on your own. Figure it out.
Which, I mean, we've kind of discussed this in episode 2, I think.
Something like that.
One or two. And it's both ideologies have their ups and downs, but
Yeah.
people, same thing with like people who say they can never get in shape and things like that.
You just
A
gotta
lot
try.
of people in America just like aren't very dedicated, for lack of a better term, not determined, don't have
The will.
don't have a good like sense of willpower, like for their, or aren't self-motivated.
And this is not even us saying we do. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we're all human. We have our faults.
Yeah.
Some people just more than others.
I would say it's like one of the things that I am better at is being self-motivated. Like whenever, like in school and in anything I really wanted to do, like I'm usually pretty good about just setting my mind to it and doing it. Which,
yeah, I have a bit of a problem with that. I'll be first to admit
well,
it.
no,
Yeah.
but a ton of people do. And
Yeah.
I mean, I have plenty of other problems.
I wasn't saying that like, oh, you're perfect. You know what I mean.
I know. But I didn't want to like sound like I'm like up here bragging on my pedestal. I'm looking down at all the peasants.
I have a willpower. What about you?
Yeah, because I flip-flop on. I used to flip-flop on interest a lot, which I still do. But like
You've at least stuck to Japanese for your sake.
well, like there's been things in my life that are really important that I can stick to and have the willpower. Like school, I usually put a lot of effort into because I know it's important.
Yeah.
Music has kind of been a thing I've been doing for a very long time and plan to keep doing, even though there's ups and downs with that. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
like
that's-
everything. I
that's
mean, you'll
natural.
get like spikes where you're like super motivated and valleys where you're like, I don't want to do anything. But yeah, like
I don't want to do anything.
music, school, Christianity, like these things I've been.
They're him.
Yeah.
They are Wesley.
Yeah, these are Wesley.
I mean, you can't say Christianity is what you get what we're saying.
Yeah, these are like the pillars of Wesley, so to speak.
The 5 pillars of Wesley.
But yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
um,
What else we got?
what would you do if you found out you had 24 hours to live?
I don't know. I guess I'd just do what I do best. Just live.
I
Like
feel like I'd just like say my goodbyes, get my affairs in order, and then like sit on a dramatic pier and like drink a Mountain Dew.
that is such a Wesley thing to say. I have no
Just like
idea.
looking out into the sea.
I feel like I just throw an unexpected party and then like towards the end of the night, just walk into the woods.
Never return.
Yeah, it's like
That'd be a good way to go.
I'd tell somebody. It's. I mean, wounded animals do that. Like
That's
they
what
have
like cats. That's kind of like
cats.
if
That's what I was
cats
thinking.
do that. Like whenever they're real sick, it'll like go and hide.
Yeah,
I've had a cat do that before, and
Yeah.
it's like very disheartening.
it's very sad. But like
I would
pack
definitely-
animals do that. If they're like close to dying, they'll just walk off and go die.
Yeah.
Like it's like wow, that's disturbing. But
Yeah, I would definitely just like make sure I said all my goodbyes and then
yeah.
peace.
I don't think I would tell people.
Really?
Like,
Would you want it to be like mysterious?
no, it's not like I want it to be mysterious. It's like, how do you tell people? You just could, like,
Yeah.
the people are going to think you're going to go kill yourself. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, because then, like, as soon as you tell someone, they're going to be like,
how do you know?
they're going to start asking a ton of questions.
Yeah, they're like, are you okay? What's
Yeah.
been going on? And you're like, I'm going to only live for the next 24 hours.
I don't have time for this conversation.
It's like, you're not worth my time. I have very limited time.
I can see what you're saying with that. Maybe then just like I don't want to write a note
Note.
and then feel like I killed myself. It's like, promise I didn't kill myself.
Yeah, it's, well, I mean, you'd have to be very tactful about it. I'd say tie up loose ends.
Yeah.
Like not with family, that's not what I mean. Like, I'm saying with
It would be
people that were extended, right?
It would be like, it depends how it went down. Like, how much can you explain it? Is it like you just like know this to be a fact inexplicably, and you
just
can't
know.
explain it?
You just know.
Like, you just know.
Yeah.
I got 24 hours.
You just know you have 20. I'd probably tell people that wasn't my family.
I feel like I would tell, like, my brother and my dad, and that'd probably be it.
Yeah. Well, what I mean is I would tell, like, people that weren't my family, I'd be like, hey, I got offered a job or something like that in another state.
Yeah.
Sure, it's a lie, but I mean, what are you going to tell them? I'm going to walk in the woods and die. Like,
This is it for me.
Yeah.
I would tell, yeah, my brother and or my dad.
Yeah.
Like, and let them tell everybody else after it happened, because like people like my mom and stuff would just like freak out.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to. Yeah.
I feel like I would probably just like tell my dad, be like, I'm not coming back. Like, he would probably look at me and be like, what are you saying? And I'd just be like, no, I'm not coming back. And then I'd just leave, and he'd probably just accept it. Like, not that he doesn't care about me. It's just like when you say something really determined, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's one of those kind of things, like a man to man. Like, he's like, I get it. I respect it. He probably wouldn't. But you get what I'm saying. Like, you'd have to find some way to make them not want you to come back, because you don't want them to think you're dead. Like, I'd rather them hate me. Not hate me, but I'd rather them dislike me or be upset at something I did than, like, me just die inexplicably in front of them. Because, like, for example, like, we had a neighbor that lived behind us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he actually went to school with us. I'll tell you later.
Mm-hmm.
He was running around in his front yard. He's our age.
Yeah.
And he just fell over and died. Like, his heart.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he had the Widowmaker, is what they called it, where it just makes your heart just stop, you fall over, and you die, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's like, the thought of me being in front of my family and doing that, if I knew,
Yeah.
is terrible. So I'd rather leave.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but like, at least if you like properly said goodbye and like to your family, and then that happened, at least they wouldn't have unanswered questions.
That's fair.
Which that would arguably be just as bad.
Yeah, I realize both of them are bad, but
Yeah.
it's
hard to.
One is grief, one is hate.
Yeah, it's hard to pick between those two.
Yeah, let's
On
go
a
to
lighter
something
note,
nice.
If Jurassic Park was real, would you go? Absolutely.
Assuming I'm not on the day it destroys itself, yes.
Yeah.
Like, if I knew ahead of time. Otherwise, I'd be like, maybe not.
Okay, this is a good one. If you could ask your future self from the year 2050 one question, what would it be?
Did I make it? No, I really don't know. That's a good question. Like, do you ask you don't want to, for lack of a better word, spoilers.
Is the camera still going?
Let me
check
the
the camera.
Yeah. Looks like it's still going. Yeah, we're on 41.
Sweet.
It's not going to cut out like last time.
Well, it'll probably still chop it up.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah.
still going, though. That's good.
But,
Anyway.
like, I wouldn't want, for lack of a better word, spoilers. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, dude, is she hot? It's...
Oh, no, I would be like, 2049, I would want to be like, did I get married? I think...
Yeah, you'd be 48, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
I
2050.
I feel like if he said no, I'd be like, dang.
Be like, how many... One question. How many kids?
I wouldn't want to know the answer to that question.
What if he was like 10?
Because if he said more than 2, I would be sad.
You'd be sad? Why would you be sad?
More than 2 is expensive, dude.
But you're like a rich guitar millionaire.
I think that's an oxymoron.
You get what I mean. You know, it's just like...
I doubt I would. I wouldn't want to know
Okay.
Financial status. I wouldn't want to know.
I feel like you don't strike me as the type who would have kids if they couldn't afford it. So if like you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like if you had 10, you could probably afford 10.
That would mean I'm rich.
Yeah. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because your wife would probably be like, more kids, Wesley. You'd just be like,
Definitely no way a wife could convince me to have 10 unless I was like so rich I didn't know what to do with all my money.
Throw it at the kids.
I just have more kids, I guess.
What? That's a terrible
Got
way
nothing else to do.
Then you go broke and you just have 10 kids to feed. It's like,
That would be awful.
I know.
I feel like 2, 3 kids max. Because like at least then they're not a spoiled single child.
Yeah, but then you have the middle kid. Why not have 2 middle kids? It's so much easier.
Well, that's why I'm saying just have 2.
Yeah, but like...
Or none.
Yeah. Do you have a particular order you'd rather them be? Like daughter then son or son then daughter?
No.
I know some people prefer like daughter then son.
I feel like it would be easier for me to raise boys, but like I feel like every guy says that.
I don't. I'd rather have daughters, like being real with you.
That's fair.
I know I've wanted to do stupid things. Like I'm not saying women are not capable of doing stupid things.
But men are extra capable of doing stupid things.
I definitely feel like if I had a son and he like did something stupid, I'd be a lot more agitated. You know what I mean? I'd be like, why did you do like my dad, for example, he got mad at his motorcycle because the chain was messing up or something, and he just drove it into a lake. Like, I feel like my daughter would call me and be like, yo, I need some help, not just throw it in a lake.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with if I had a son, and I know that many people, and you included, like say that me and my dad act very similar. Like our personalities, they align more than they are not the same. Yeah. They're very similar sense of humor and just the way we talk, very similar. And then imagine like another one.
A third one. Oh, no.
There's 3 Dans.
Call this one Dan the Third. No, I don't know.
Oh, dude, I could name him Albert after my dad's middle name.
You can make it Aaron.
Why Aaron?
Austin.
There's no one named Aaron.
I always mess up the name Aaron. My brain is like Wesley Aaron.
When you said Aaron, I was like Attack on Titan.
What? But isn't that with an E?
Yeah. It's E-R.
What would you... Okay, assuming you had a kid right now, what would you name him?
I wouldn't have a kid right now.
I said assuming.
Assume I had a kid right now.
You have to have, like right now. It just appears in front of you.
A kid is appearing.
Like you come out, like you're like Zeus, your head gets cut open, you have Athena pop out. Like, what would you name it?
It's a boy?
Doesn't matter. Could be either.
I have no idea.
Assuming it's a boy.
I have no idea. Zero clue.
I feel like if it was a daughter, I'd be like Ellie.
I mean, I guess I'd go with Albert because that'd be funny.
Albert.
Yeah, I mean, I would hate for my kid to grow up and be like, "Why'd you name me Albert?" It's like because I thought it was funny.
Because it's funny.
Because granddad, his middle name's Albert. Isn't that hilarious?
I would hate if my parents did that. It'd be like
I could call him Al.
You know, I know, but like if they gave you the first name of your grandparent, like what would your name be? Like let's be your dad's dad.
My dad's dad?
What would your name be?
I don't know my dad's name.
Point being, I'd be named Grover.
My mom's dad is Larry.
Dude, this could be the Larry and Grover podcast.
Bro.
Yeah, dude.
What if we had a podcast, we kept this podcast going for so long that when we died, our kids took over the podcast?
We just pass it on when they hit 20.
That'd be so weird.
You know what? We keep this up. We pass it on to them when they turn 18. Problem solved. They start right where we left off. Or they start where we started.
They start where we started?
Yeah, we start at this age, and then they have to start at this age.
Are we going to do, like, all 4 of us in the same podcast?
No.
Or just, like, we just give it to them? And
it's
like,
just their
like,
problem
this is
now.
yours now.
Yeah.
We'd have one crossover episode.
Yeah, and it'd be like, and here's your new hosts.
Larry and Grover.
No. I would never name him Grover. That'd be such a bad name.
This is a really easy question. If it had to always be nighttime or always daytime, which would you choose and why? Always nighttime.
Why are you telling me to move to Alaska?
Oh, yeah. Always nighttime. So easy.
Yeah, like, you could sleep easier.
It's cooler at night.
Yeah.
Just nice.
It's just, why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
You know.
why would you want it to be daytime? Unless you're like you get stressed out by like driving at night.
But if you get stressed out at driving at night, it's always nighttime, so you get used to it. Like, you would have grown up with it always being nighttime.
That's true.
Oh. If you had to eat one part of your body or die an excruciating death, what part would you eat?
So are we assuming that we have to eat it while it's still attached?
I didn't even want to think
Or
of
do
that.
we chop it off and eat it?
I'm assuming you take it off.
Okay. That's
Tooth.
That's much easier.
Tooth.
Tooth?
A tooth.
A tooth.
It says
like-
one part of your body. It
I
didn't.
feel like that's a cheese answer. I feel like you're
toenail.
cheesing the system.
No.
I feel like it has to be like something substantial.
Okay,
Like
then
my hand.
third finger on my right hand. Yeah? Oh, we're talking significant parts here. No pinky toes or fingers, please. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's a little
Subtext.
yeah, bottom text.
Bottom text. So no fingers. So it has to be like hand.
Okay, I don't know if I
Foot.
could
Or like
kneecap.
kneecap.
Just like the bone though. No, like what would you eat at that point? Cuz assuming what else do you really have to give beside hand, foot, pancreas?
You could.
You can
I would
eat an organ.
accept. You can eat 75% of your liver
Yeah.
and
What
survive.
if, I eat my
a
gallbladder.
lung, kidney.
Yeah.
Gallbladder isn't a real part of your body.
Yes, it is. It's eat one part of your
my
body.
pancreas.
I'd eat my stomach.
I don't know. Could I
Nose?
cook it
Raw.
raw?
Blood and everything.
'Cause
Would you say your nose is significant? Because that's one of your senses.
I feel like it's too small though.
Really?
Like nose and ear.
How about your olfactory senses?
I feel like you'd have to be like kidney,
Yeah.
lung,
Jaw.
hand.
Jaw.
How do you eat your jaw?
You find a
Please
way.
explain that one to me.
All right, so
I
you...
feel like I'd go kidney.
Well, I guess if you had to eat your own jaw, you take this, like, the bottom part of it off, right? Like your chin, all this. And you still have the teeth on the top. So you just, like...
How would you eat the bones in your jaw?
I don't know. The same way you eat the bones of anything. You don't.
You don't. I was about to say you don't eat the bones of anything.
No, skip that one.
If you were a superhero, which of your friends would you pick as your sidekick, and what would your respective powers be?
See, I almost feel like we shouldn't do that one. But okay, let's assume it's you and me. How about
Okay.
that? That way we get out of any awkward situation outside of this.
All right.
You get what I mean?
So I'll say mine as you being my sidekick, and then you'll say yours as me being your sidekick.
Sure.
Is that how this works?
That's how this works, I
Okay.
assume.
So my ideal power would be time manipulation because it just beats everything else.
What would I have the ability to do? The same
So
thing?
you're my sidekick. I would say
the same thing.
no. You
Right?
can't be a sidekick. Can't be as powerful as me.
Yes, they can.
No, they can't.
They totally
My
can.
sidekick's not gonna be.
Okay, wow.
Okay, so I'm manipulating time. What can my sidekick do?
Control sand. And then you could be like the sands of time.
The sands of time.
Yeah.
Either that, or I'd give you like either telekinesis or telepathy.
That'd be fair. Well, I mean, actually, telepathy would be really useful to have because you could freeze time and then I
And
could
then
just
see
go
what
read their mind.
people are thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, like would they be thinking while time was frozen?
Well, let's say that you have a snapshot.
Snapshot.
Well, being that mine is time manipulation, I could technically like cheese the system and like replay what they just did and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's interesting to think about. I like that.
Yeah, telepathy probably because
Yeah.
the interactions of that would be cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was thinking more of like powers that complement each other.
Yeah,
You know, like let's say,
water, fire.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I was thinking, it'd be like let's say there was two dragons, and like one could spew fire and one could spew ice. It'd be like one of us would have pyrokinesis, one of us would have the other kinesis. The ice. You want me to say ice?
I would want electrokinesis. I would
Really?
want electricity.
This is like the whole
as, like,
earthbending.
As a kid, no, like as a little kid, I always thought like electric powers were cool.
Okay, well, this is my superhero fantasy.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm saying like it would be like me as an earthbender with all of my like every ability they could have, and you could be the fire one with every ability you had. You know what I mean?
I can accept that.
And then I'd be like the defender. Like I could block stuff maybe.
Yeah.
And then you could be the offensive capabilities. Like
Yeah.
we need each other. That'd
I'm
be
down
cool.
with that. I'm down with that.
Yeah. What? Oh, I like the next one.
What historic figure would make the worst ghost to be haunted by?
John Wilkes Booth.
I feel like he's
I was
not
kidding.
that bad. Yeah.
You were just somebody's gonna say Hitler
Yeah.
or no Stalin. Stalin would be pretty bad.
Are we assuming that you can understand Russian?
I'm assuming you can understand what they're saying no matter
Whatever
what.
they're saying. Okay.
Yeah, it's like they would say it in another language,
But
you
you'd
would hear
understand.
it. You would hear it in another language, but your brain would would know what they said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Because they're haunting you.
that would be so annoying. You imagine how annoying it would be? Hitler would be like, "Make a pure ethno state. Make a pure
Well,
ethno state."
I feel like Hitler would just be screaming all the time, like in his speeches.
Here's the question though: would the ghost have like the same wounds? Because like Hitler would have a hole in his head floating around you.
I feel like he would.
Yeah, and then like Stalin would have his mangy arm or whatever.
Yeah.
Or was that Stalin?
His
Or was...
right hand.
Okay, yeah. So now you're just getting followed around by a bunch of annoying ghosts, or one annoying ghost. Who? Okay,
But who do you think would make the
worst.
worst ghost?
because like I feel like you could deal with Hitler. Like Hitler and Stalin
He's
would
just
be
like
annoying.
they would just be like babbling, and you'd be like, oh, there they go.
Yeah, like they're not telling the truth, or like
Yeah.
or you don't agree with it. It'd have to be something close to what you agree to, but not all the way. You know what I mean?
Or
it
just
could,
someone who didn't stop talking.
it could be a jazz musician, and he like
Jazz?
constantly plays
He has his
instrument.
You're haunted by John Coltrane.
I was gonna say you're haunted by like Stevie Wonder.
John Coltrane just Stevie Wonder's still alive. Isn't
I didn't mean I meant like somebody who's. I just chose a musician name.
John Coltrane is just constantly playing saxophone in your ear.
Yeah.
You can't hear anything.
You're constantly followed by Count Basie and his little tiny ding, like he doesn't play anything.
The one note
else.
samba.
That's-
Constantly.
yeah.
A
He'll just-
floating piano.
Yes, dude, it'd be so okay. Like constant talking, you could probably tune out eventually, but just like random piano notes, like just in the middle of nowhere. Like you'd be sitting dead silence in your house, and then all of a sudden, Count Basie's in the corner, like, dee 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 dee. You know, that would be so annoying.
That's an interest. I didn't think we'd arrive at this answer.
Yeah, I was seriously thinking we'd go with the Hitler thing or something. You know, some kind of murderer. You could go with the guy you were talking about before who like cut up people
Dr.
in
Satan?
France. Yeah.
I feel like he wouldn't be that bad. I think he'd just be like a crazy dude.
Yeah, I mean, crazy people would be pretty bad. What about fictional characters?
Or
I know
like
it's-
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Ted Bundy.
I feel like he wouldn't be that bad.
I mean, he'd be charismatic.
I feel like he'd just strike up a normal conversation most of the time.
Yeah, but I feel like
I mean, like he definitely murdered people horribly, but I feel like his day to day is just like
Yeah, but I feel like he'd probably convince you to do something like that. Like he would
he'd
become
try
your
to
friend.
He'd try to pull you in.
Yeah, like he'd make you his friend, and
Yeah.
then like one day you're walking along the street and you see a woman, he's like, kill her.
I can believe that.
You know what I mean? Something like that. Like Ted Bundy would be pretty bad.
If you had to travel 100 years into the past or 100 years into the future, which would you choose?
Well, what happened 100 years in the? This was the Roaring '20s.
Yeah, but then you got the
stock
Great
market.
Depression.
Yeah, but you could anticipate that.
You could,
You could buy your soup in bulk.
you could sell right before the crash, and then you could buy. Right at the bottom of the crash,
That's true.
you'd make a ton of money.
You could. Well, you'd still have to go through it.
Yeah, but like
You could probably refill it, though.
You would come out of it on top.
Would that technically refill it though? Like fuel it if you bought it just right? You could technically subvert it
No,
in a way.
well, not one person buying
Yeah.
power.
Well, I know. I'm saying like not fully, but you can maybe help some of the effects of it by fueling certain companies. By
Yeah,
doing
by
that.
buying stuff when it's at the bottom, it would help.
But that's assuming
But
you
not-
make enough money.
It would
during
be
the-
like help marginally,
yeah,
unless you're just like super wealthy.
yeah. But you have like no money probably.
Well, assuming that you have like about as much money as you have now.
Oh, dude, that'd be good.
Yeah,
Think about how much
conversion
yeah.
rate.
Because like, you hypothetically you have $2,000 right now.
Yeah.
Right? That could, assuming you're living here and you still live at home, you could survive off $2,000, assuming you were paying for food.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't want to live in the 20s.
Yeah, that's fair.
So then, what would 100 years in the future look like?
You You ever seen that Will Smith movie, I Am Legend? I feel like that. Like, something bad is going to happen.
What if you just travel 100 years in the future and just America's not there?
I was going to say there's just nothing.
Just nobody?
Or you go 100 years in the future and everybody's, like, speaking German. And you're just like, what happened?
Why is everybody speaking German?
You're like, what's up with that, man?
Mercedes is taking over the
you're
world.
like, you get there and you're like, hello, Friedrich. You're just like, Friedrich or whatever. That would be terrible. What do we got next?
Would you rather have 4 legs or 4 arms? 4 arms, definitely, I feel like.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I feel like walking on that would hurt. Well, surely your back feet would basically, your back hands would become calloused and basically feet.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely suck walking around, but, like, all the stuff that I enjoy doing, like, I couldn't do with legs.
But here's the question. Would your legs become arms? Like, no, I'm, like, when I say that, I mean, obviously your feet would be hands.
Yes, your legs would become arms.
Would this look like an arm?
Yes.
So basically...
That's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming, like, pretty much you would just have 2 sets of these. Like, exactly what you got up here.
Down here.
Place your hand.
That's what I'm saying would be weird.
Oh, it would definitely be weird. But I'm saying having this be exactly this would be worse.
Now, here's the other question. Assuming your arms or your legs become your arms, where does the arms start? Would it start, like, here? You see what I'm getting at, right?
Would your hips be shoulders?
So therefore, would you have a second, like, collarbone and everything?
I wouldn't
instead of where your head would be like...
Your stomach?
What?
I wouldn't think you would have a collarbone. I also don't think your hips would be shoulders. I think it would be, like, the hip joint and then, like...
Arms.
Your arms.
Or shoulder.
Yeah. Or no shoulder.
Wait. No, there'd have to be a shoulder.
It would be like a hybrid hip shoulder.
A holder, if you will.
Exactly.
Dude, that would... You know what? Definitely 4 arms.
Yeah.
Dude, why
4
wouldn't
legs,
you?
what would you do with feet on your
Dude,
feet
you'd
for
be
hands?
so good at the monkey bars.
No, you wouldn't. You
Yes,
couldn't
you
grab them.
No, with 4 arms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
I thought you were talking about legs.
You'd never have to buy shoes. Shoes are expensive. You'd buy gloves.
The only thing you could do with all legs is, like, run around.
You'd be like a horse.
You'd just be galloping everywhere.
Okay, that'd be kind of cool.
You could set the...
No, wait, no. Have you ever tried... You ever tried to, like, kind of gallop on... Like,
but it would be
younger?
different with
Would
legs.
it, though?
You would have longer...
Well, your legs would still be off. Like, it wouldn't be perfectly symmetrical where you could actually run.
It would be.
Well, I mean, like, when your arms and your legs are out, you know, like
It'd
this.
be very close.
Sorry. You get what I mean. You'd be a little lopsided, surely.
Let's say that you're not. Let's say that
you're perfectly
you can
symmetrical.
gallop extremely well. That's the only benefit.
I mean, you could walk...
I mean,
your feet would your front feet would probably slowly become more dexterous, like not like hand dexterous, like where you could grab things super well, but you could probably use both your feet to like grab a drink and like eat, you know, stuff like that.
Grab a fork.
Yeah,
There's been like videos of people like playing guitar with their feet.
Yeah, and there are people that do so many great things with their feet because they don't have hands.
Yeah,
you could just learn, but it would be so hard to do.
Be a very painful process.
Yeah. That's definitely, you could get, okay, so here's the real question, though. Assuming you had 4 arms, would you start wearing gloves on your bottom feet, or your bottom hands, or would you slowly callus them so you wouldn't have to? You see what I'm getting at, right? Because, you know, standing on concrete would hurt.
I feel like you'd probably wear gloves because, like, especially when it's hot outside and you're standing on asphalt, if you're doing that barehanded, then that would be very painful.
Well, like I said, get calluses though. You'd eventually grow used to it.
Yeah.
Like, I could stand on concrete for like 30 seconds before it burns now because I got calluses on my feet. Okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a long time, not like 30 seconds exactly. But you get what I'm saying?
But with gloves and or shoes on, you could just stand out there for however long you need to.
Yeah, but like, how thick would those gloves be?
I mean, you could get some special made gloves.
You imagine going to like a glove
Custom
place and you just walk in.
I need gloves that are shoes.
Yeah, I need give me like some shoe gloves. They need grip. Like, give me some good grip shoe gloves.
I just want to imagine like how that person would walk. Or,
Probably normal. Like, they could just walk like a monkey.
Or you could just use crutches.
Nah. Oh, that'd be... Dude, if they use crutches...
Short crutches?
Yeah, well, if they use crutches that were normal sized, right? Like,
Yes.
it would put them at the correct height. Because I'm assuming... You know, I just thought about.
What?
Would those arms be the size of your legs?
No, that would be the size of your arms.
Oh, so you'd be shorter.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking.
No, I was thinking you're like short.
Okay.
You're like Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski. Because I was going to say, I was thinking that too, right? That they were the same size. But then I was like, what if they were as long as your legs are now? So you just had two super long arms.
I feel like then you would like just like walk a little funny. I feel like that'd be the only
I feel like you'd
downside.
walk normal though, would you not? Because if you spread your hands out like that, you could have enough to, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
you get what I'm getting at, because you have a wider range of motion with your arms than your legs. I feel.
Yeah.
It's certainly a weird.
I have
thought.
no idea.
Yeah, let's move on from now. Would you rather? No, that one's kind of lame.
That's just trolley problem.
Yeah, but the trolley problem's everywhere.
Yeah.
There's so many different concepts with that. If you could pick any
what
three
is
people.
marooned?
Stranded.
Ah. So they got like the band.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be like, if you could choose any three people in the world to be purple with, who would it be?
No.
Or like purple red.
Do we want to go in this question?
Yeah, sure.
I don't feel like I have an exciting answer for this question.
I don't think so either. It'd probably just be people I know.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, that'd be kind of lame. What?
Okay, if time travel were possible, what one event would you like to go back and change or witness? I have two ones that I want to talk about. I talked with my dad about this earlier. Obviously, I would want to go see Jesus. Obviously. But that one's like, I'm not going to go into that one too much because that one's like a like kind of thing. Like,
I hadn't even thought of that, to be honest with you. That's a good point, but I hadn't thought about it. You know what I mean? It's not the first thing that came to my mind.
But I would want to go see Jesus first and foremost, obviously.
Christian.
But like, besides that, if I had a second trip, I would want to go talk to my dad as an 18-year-old.
Ooh. I feel like that could cause a lot of weird things.
I wouldn't want to change anything about the timeline, obviously. I would want to, like, because him and my mom knew each other, and then they kind of didn't know each other, and then they, like, dated and for real. So, like, they hung out when they were, like, younger and, like, in a group of friends. Like, they went to the same church and things like that. And I would want to go, like, hang out at my grandpa's house with my dad and my mom and, like, be in their friend group for, like, an afternoon and just,
That'd
like, talk to them and then, like, leave.
That would be so weird.
I know, right?
That's a whole, like, Marty McFly thing.
That would be so cool, though.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, vaguely.
You've seen Back to the Future 1, right?
No.
You haven't seen any. Have you seen any of them?
Nope.
We gotta watch that. You got some movies you could show me. I can show you Back to the Future. Back to the Future's good. Anyway, point being, that's kind of the plot of that movie. Like, it is, but it isn't. Mm-hmm. Like, he goes back at time. I don't remember too much of it. Mm-hmm. Somehow he goes back at time, and he prevents his parents from meeting. So,
Why?
like, he didn't mean to.
Oh, okay.
It was an accident. I think his mother fell in love with him.
That is one thing I thought about. I was like, that's why I said I would go talk to my dad mainly, because I wouldn't want to my mother to hit on me or me to accidentally hit on my mother.
You think she would hit on you?
Well, I'm not saying she would, but it would be. I wouldn't want to risk it.
Yeah.
Like, I would feel. I know if I talk to my dad, we're like just probably gonna end up being friends and having a funny conversation, and like just the thought of what that conversation would be like is like so intriguing to me.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're getting at. I don't know. I don't think I'd want to go back and see my parents. It's only back at time, right? No. Oh, yeah. If time travel were possible, what event would you go back to? So it has to be.
It has to be an event. You can't like just be like future.
Yeah, because I was thinking.
Well, you could say
it says go back to though, and if we're following strictly that.
But if we're just saying the event clause, you could say like, I want to witness the heat death of the universe.
Jeez. I was thinking more like. I don't really know what I would do. There's nothing in particular
that you really want to see
in a part of my life that in history too. I was thinking necessarily in my life that I'd like to re-see. You know what I mean?
Oh, nothing in my lifetime. Like nothing that I personally experienced that I want to go back to and see again.
Yeah, like we've had great moments in our life, but I don't want to relive it.
Yeah, I mean, I've just
that's like watching a movie.
It's not that like there aren't great moments that I'd like to go see. It's like I just feel no need to. Like, I would much rather go see like something historical or go talk to my dad or like something something crazy.
But I can't think of anything I'd want to see in history either.
Nothing.
Like, think about like I'd say I'm fairly knowledgeable of history, right? But I'm fairly knowledgeable of what I've been told about history, rather.
Yeah.
So like, I may have been told this person was the best at X, Y, Z, or whatever, and they could go back and get ruined for me, or like
I feel like that'd be interesting enough to be worth the journey, though. There's
you get what I mean.
I could like have a laundry list of stuff if I would want to go back and see.
Yeah, that's fair. But what in particular, like, there's no invention I want to see getting made because there's already better stuff. Like, I wouldn't want to go back and see the typewriter, for example, or the Model T.
But you wouldn't want to talk with Nikola Tesla or talk with Thomas Edison?
Well, Thomas Edison's a liar.
That doesn't mean he wasn't smart. He knew what he was doing.
You know what I mean? It's just like, there's a...
Well, like Nikola Tesla.
That would be interesting, but I don't think I'd want to spend it on it.
Well, then, but you just said you have nothing you want to see.
Like, I don't want to see him. That's what I'm saying. I say it'd be interesting, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'd probably get to the point where I would be like, assuming...
Let's say you have to go back somewhere and see something. Where are you going?
Well, I was going to tell you what I was going to say. I was going to be like, assuming I have one chance and it stays with me. You know what I mean? I'd wait for something extraordinary to happen and then go back in my own life. Or like let's say I end up ruining the chances of something. I could save it, go back, because it says you can change it.
So you want a retry button?
Pretty much. That's what I'd rather.
You want a save point?
Yes, I want a
That's
save
a fair
point.
answer.
You see what I'm getting at?
It's like, oh frick, I messed that up.
Like, I messed that up pretty bad.
Yeah, it's like, let me go back and change that.
But then there's that thing of you'd always be thinking, is that worth it?
Yeah.
But
and you'd kind of, there's also like a moral dilemma. Is like, they didn't know that I just changed that.
So?
Okay.
It's like,
I'm just saying.
Assuming you have the ability to go back in time, throw morals out the window.
Okay. Let me change the question where you have to go back and see something.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
What would you go back and see?
Well, that's what I don't know. That's why I'm trying
to... Think of something.
Oh, my bad. Maybe seeing...
You wouldn't want to see, like, Jesus giving sight to the blind man, telling a lame person to get up and walk, and them get up and walk.
If you already believe in something, why do you have to go and see it?
Because it'd be cool as heck. What do you mean, why?
I don't know. It's just that's not what pops in my head. Like, I would love to see it. It'd be great. You get to see the holy power of God, like, in flesh, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what I think of. I think of, like, I almost said modern history. I think of, like, the past 20 years or something like that. Maybe I could just see what the 80s were like or the 70s, okay?
That's so lame.
Is that what you want to... Oh, wow.
Like, you could go see Moses part the Red Sea, but you're like, I'm going to go see the 80s.
That's why I didn't want to answer, because I don't know.
Terrible answer.
What do you want me to... I want to go see the Vietnam War.
At least that's cool.
And see Hanoi Hannah, like, speaking over the intercom in English to scare the crap out of people. Is that what you want to hear?
I mean, at least that's interesting.
People would be like, why do you want to see the Vietnam War where people literally just got shot for no reason?
But that's a better answer than I want to see the 80s. What were the 80s like?
Okay, fine. I want to go to the Vietnam War and Hanoi Hannah. Is that better?
Your time travel answers are terrible.
That is the one bad answer I've given. The other one wasn't bad. If you were to be stuck in a TV show for a month, what show would you pick, and what character would you be?
I'd be a Naruto. 100%.
And you would be Naruto.
No.
You'd be Sasuke.
That not how you say it.
Sasuke.
And probably not, because he's too edgy.
You could be edgy.
I could. I feel like if I don't know which Naruto character I'd be though, because I could just like pick one of the most powerful ones that just be like OP as heck, but I could also not do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't particularly have a TV show that I like enough that I would do that, like that I'd want to be in that universe. You know what I mean?
Well, assuming that assuming that I'm not gonna die in that month.
Yeah.
Because like Naruto, being in the Naruto show like universe would definitely be dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, but assuming that I either won't die or if I die, I'll just be fine in a month.
Yeah.
Then Naruto, and like if I was just gonna be OP as heck, I would be like Madara. Or if I was just gonna be a cool character, I'd be like Itachi.
I don't know. To me, I've always thought like getting stuck. This is not necessarily a TV show, but like there's the concepts of it in TV shows. I have genuinely thought it would be neat to get, not stuck, that's not what I mean, but like a full dive game, similar to SAO.
Yeah, I was about to say Sword Art Online.
Similar to that. Like, I've thought about it before I saw the show. I'm saying it'd be neat if those existed, but if I got stuck in that, that would be really interesting to me. Even if, like, you die in there, you die in real life concept was the thing.
Do you think that full dive, like,
Technology?
video games will ever be a thing? Like, it plugs into your cerebral cortex, so to speak.
Assuming we figure out in the next... Because they say, what, technology quadruples in power every certain amount of years or something like that. Assuming that is capable, I would say it's definitely possible. We just have to figure out how to make people hallucinate. You get what I mean?
Well,
Like, you see what I mean? Not hallucinate as in, like, I'm in this room and I see a squirrel in the corner.
Yeah.
I mean hallucinate as in, like, completely change what your eyes are physically capable of seeing.
Yeah, that's like, how would they, like, for lack of a better term, like, plug into your brain? Like, how would they go about doing that? Would you have to have some sort of surgery that, like, hooks up a display port to the back of your neck? You know, not literally, but like something that makes you part
Probably
electronic.
So you'd be an android, kind of.
Well, not
an android, but like
more like there's
cyborg. That's the word.
I'm not a neurologist, but like something that makes it where you can have an electrical, like, USB, quote unquote, plug into you.
Yeah,
and like access your brain.
Yeah.
Would that be what has to be done? If so, I wouldn't be down for that.
Yeah, if it had to be done that way, and you had to like get an expensive surgery, and you're only supposed to have like so many surgeries in your lifetime, why use that one on that?
You're only supposed to have so many surgeries in your lifetime?
Like full opens kind of deal? Because after you have each one you have makes it significantly more dangerous that you'll die in it.
What is a full open?
I don't know. I just said that. I'm thinking like slice straight open. Like
so like huge surgeries.
Huge surgeries.
So we're assuming this is a huge surgery.
They're cutting open your brain to like.
Fair enough.
So you get what I mean. I'm saying like, if that's the case, I wouldn't use it on that because I mean I'm paranoid. I am. I'd be scared something would happen.
Well, I just like wouldn't want to have electrical circuits running through my body like that.
I'd be more down for the SAO approach where they have a helmet that sends microwaves.
Yeah, but I mean, real life, like, how would something like that be accomplished is the question.
Well, I mean, if we're assuming we have full dive technology in this case, I don't see how it's not impossible. We already have, like, berries. Granted, they were already in the wild, but they got supplemented to, like, where you could taste something sour and it tastes sweet. We already have ways of changing how the mind physically views things. Granted, most of those are hallucinogens, but
well, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a little different because I mean, like hallucinogens, like LSD and DMT, like it's not really a controlled reaction though.
You know
what
I mean?
It's like, oh, it's gonna make your brain go ooh, but like it's not like you're gonna be joining this multiplayer game.
Yeah,
you know, like.
Well, don't some people? Isn't there like some drug you take where everybody describes the same physical plane? Like I think there's a thing with acid. I know LSD and acid are either the same thing or really similar, but there's one of them you could take where for some reason people describe the same thing.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you're like interacting with other people.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying like I realize I said take the drug similar to this, but let's say you do have to take. It's like you get the game right. You get the helmet, and you get your complimentary LSD with it, and you had to take the LSD to play the game. Like it opens.
So are you assuming that the interacting with people, quote unquote, is all inside your head and you're not really interacting with people? Or is it like the drug somehow gets you into the game inexplicably?
No. Okay, when I realized what I said was vague.
Yeah.
I was assuming technology advances. Instead of getting the high feeling or like the weird visual effects, they figure out a way to make it where it opens your mind instead and you're more susceptible
to like the
impulses.
Microwaves.
Yeah, to impulses or whatever waves.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to get at. I just didn't say it correctly.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, I realized
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I think that we'll ever get there.
I don't think we ever will.
Yeah.
At least not in our lifetime.
Oh, for sure not in our lifetime.
Maybe, I would say if ever, it would either be within the next 20 years, since they've gotten VR and similar things, right?
Mhm.
Or when we're 80. Nowhere in between. It has to be like...
Why exactly either 20 years from now or when we're 80?
Because assuming if things keep getting better in power, they'd be able to figure it out either soon
Just
or
like
we don't have the technology.
Just like the step ladder of like, we're doing this,
Yeah,
and we get
'cause
there.
That'll take a lot of computing power. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like VR already takes a lot, and that's just rendering visual. Imagine like having to render sense of smell and like if I touch you, you're warm.
Smell-o-vision.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, and I'm assuming like VR, you're obviously you have controllers. Sometimes you have like a haptic vest that like vibrates and stuff. But I'm assuming if we get to the full dive technology, it's like similar to like you're in a coma. Like,
oh yeah, like
you're not moving. Like your body isn't doing anything.
Yeah, the signals would be sent to a database, and then instead of making your body,
like you're connected to a server. Your brain is connected to a server.
Our body's a server in a way, is it not?
It's more of like a Gundam.
My body's a Gundam. I know what you mean.
My
it just
brain piloting
funny.
a meat suit.
Yeah, we really are though. Like,
which is weird.
It is. Like, still, there's a lot of things I think would be interesting with that.
Oh yeah.
How would they moderate that though? I know that sounds like a weird question.
Get banned.
I was thinking more along the lines of, I know it would be used wrong.
And like, what would a hacker do?
Could they technically kill you? Like, I imagine if they made it...
It depends how invasive the full dive is.
Well, like if we're taking... Because I'm still thinking of the show, for example.
Yeah.
Like, let's say hacker does X and makes you immobile, right? You can't move. Therefore, you can't log out.
Yeah.
So would you just die?
Well, it goes back to like how invasive would a real life full dive be? Would it be like... So we're saying your brain's connected to a server, but are the only signals that your brain are giving to the server is like your visual...
cortex, I guess.
Your like visual sensory stuff, but as far as like your involuntary movements and like...
I'm assuming you'd still breathe. You know,
yeah, like your involuntary movements and then like the will to like take the headset off. Like if some like we're already in a super futuristic setting, so we're saying that like the server is taking like your visual and the things you're experiencing, but then you could also still consciously take off the headset.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, okay, so
like there would have to be a failsafe where a hacker could not like mess with like your real body.
If a kill,
or
like a
shut
kill
off
switch.
your brain.
So a kill switch, pretty much. It's
pretty
like
much.
If detection of entrance,
it's like just stop.
Stop.
Yeah.
Or like, since we're saying it can accept the brain's, what's the word I'm thinking of? Input, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, like your neurons firing, like that electrical signal.
So what's saying it couldn't send any back? So like, let's say...
Wouldn't that be what you're experiencing?
No. I'm saying like, your brain's in the server, you know,
or
it's
sending
operating.
Signals
Sending signals.
They're communicating back and forth, just like packets.
So you can't move in real life, right?
Yeah.
So assuming something happens, like your brain would still get the pain sensor. Like if it was like somebody came into your house and like pinched you or stabbed you or something like that, you wouldn't know because your brain wouldn't be detecting it, I guess. But what if the server, you know, like your brain sent that signal? It's like, oh crap, I'm in pain in real life or hungry or something like that. And like a message would pop up or something. And it would just like send the nerve pulse to your actual brain and make you take it off. Assuming technology.
So you're assuming the server, but then if the server could do that, then that opens the door for hackers to control you.
Exactly.
To control your real body.
And that's they could just never make it wireless. It'd have to be wired, like in your bed. Because if they made it wireless, they could just control you. But if it was wired, they could take out the wire and it would just wake you up because you wouldn't be connected.
Right.
So there'd have to be some sort of limits to it for...
It would, like, whoever is, like, designing a failsafe for that, it would be like walking a very thin line.
Yeah. It's interesting to think about.
Of, like, too much communication and, like...
Not enough.
Yeah.
Surely there'd have to be some sort of vital thing in the corner during the entire time you're playing. Like, breathing rate.
Or, like you said, like, if anything gets too wonky, it's just, like, shuts off. Like,
I like it. I like this thought.
I mean, it's definitely a thought people have had, but like the semantics of how it would actually go down.
It's like how cloning is technically possible, but we shouldn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've cloned goats and lambs.
Yeah.
And they usually die very quick.
Which is weird. I don't get why they die. Like, does it like rapidly accelerate their aging? I don't get that.
I have no idea.
I mean, I know neither of us do. It's just kind of thought.
Yeah, I mean, very interesting. If you could cure all these diseases in the world forever, but to do so you have to murder one innocent child, would you do it? No. Personally.
Cure all disease in the world forever. Or you could. Wow, that's worded terribly. See, the way that's worded, right? Mm-hmm. You cure all diseases in the world forever. Mm-hmm. What's preventing? Like it says forever, but I'm assuming it's the ones you cured, not potential new ones.
You don't cure new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you're just killing a kid to like prevent.
To get 100 years of peace, let's say.
Yeah. I would barely even say that because I mean,
well,
bacteria is crazy.
Yeah. Well, let's say 100 years of peace.
You give it, yeah, okay, for 100 years of no disease.
I still wouldn't put it.
How old is the kid?
2.
Sure.
3.
Again, sure. It's like I'd probably cut it off like 5.
You'd cut it off at 5. I wouldn't do it at all because it's not worth it to have an innocent child's blood on your hands, in my opinion.
I feel like I could live with that. Like I'm knowing I saved a bunch of other people. It's the whole ethics thing. It's like I've saved
the whole
millions.
Trolley problem.
Yeah, but then we'd have an overpopulation problem, and people would probably die of starvation. So it wouldn't matter in the long run. But I think in the moment, I would probably be so concerned with trying to save people, I wouldn't consider that.
Yeah, now when you said that, it makes me even more sure that I wouldn't do it because like you in the long run, you probably wouldn't affect.
You'd screw people over.
The death total that much.
Yeah. The only, like, and I know it's kind of weird that I said 5.
Yeah.
But, like, kids get their personalities really young. You know how they're going to be. Like, 2, or 1 to 2, you could kind of see something. 3, there's definitely something there. 4 for sure. But 5, they're a person. Like, you could probably take an educated guess on what the kid's going to do. You know what I mean? It's like if they're the curious type or not. And it's just like, I don't know if I could do that. Unless I didn't get to talk to them.
Yeah, but like, I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Let's just. I've seen Gilligan's Island, but I haven't seen Lost.
Well, that's a. It's a weird question.
Yeah. Let's keep going. What is McDreamy and McStevie? What are those?
I'm not going to look those up.
I don't want to look those up. I feel like that could turn very bad. If you could travel 50 years in the future but never return, would you do so? What about 1,000?
That's like that whole like theory of relativity question. It's like you get on a spaceship that takes you on a round trip around the universe and it takes 2 years, but when you get back, it's like 200 years in the future because of the theory of relativity.
Yeah.
So everyone you know is gone.
But
when you get back, you'll be like a celebrity. It's like, hey, the guy that traveled around the universe is coming back this year.
Huh. I'd say 4 years from now, maybe. Not now. Like, I'd at least want to get an education. Granted, it would be outdated, but it would be an accomplishment I had.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if I did it right now, I wouldn't know what was going to happen by the end of college.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You would want to know what your college story ended on before you made that decision.
Yeah, like let's say 2 years go by, I have a lovely girlfriend, maybe going to be my wife in the future. It's like I wouldn't go then.
Yeah.
You know, but if I would live not knowing whether something had happened. Granted, I could go to college 2 years when I come back, but that's an entirely new set of people with different references and everything I wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
Like, think about...
It would be completely different.
Yeah. I mean, think about the things we grew up with compared to somebody who was 3 years younger than us. It's completely different. Like,
it's true.
They had different TV shows. Imagine 200 years.
Yep. Well, I mean, you could always just get your master's in 200 years.
You get what I mean, though. It's like, I wouldn't want to. I definitely wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't take... So...
Granted, 50 years in the future, you'd still find people who knew what you do growing up. Like, I could meet you right now, and you'd be 68. We'd still have the same things growing up, but you'd have 50 years of experience on it.
Yeah, I'd have 50 years of a life that you didn't have.
Yeah. So, no, definitely no.
So that would be like so weird for either way for me to travel in the future and have a conversation with 68-year-old Garrett, or you to travel in the future and have a conversation with 68-year-old me.
I feel like I would still
Right
be a
now.
pessimist,
I mean, I feel like our core personalities would definitely be the same.
but it's like we'd have.
Just 50 years of life
Yeah.
to tell the other one about.
I don't think I'd talk as much. Like
I feel like if it was, let's say, flash forward 50 years and either one of us saw it like we're just sitting in our metaphorical front porch, and like 18-year-old Garrett or 18-year-old Wesley appears in front of us, I feel like we'd just like start telling them all the stuff we've done.
Well, we've talked about this. We're talking about this now.
Yeah,
so,
especially now that we've had this conversation. We would
yeah.
definitely just start telling.
Yeah, like if I saw you, I'm 68, and you're like clearly
Right now.
18 in front of me, I'd be like, huh, guess that happened.
How'd you get here?
Be like, so that's where you went, huh?
We just start telling each other what we've been doing.
Yeah,
But then what about 1,000 years in the future?
nah, wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
There'd
definitely.
probably be some weird stuff I wouldn't want to see.
Plus, you wouldn't know anybody.
Yeah. Keep going. None of those look interesting. I don't think I'd want either of those.
Yeah.
Why are we? You could change one thing about how the human body has evolved. What would it be?
For
Tail.
example, a third eye, bigger brain, webbed toes. We're not talking X-ray vision or anything like that.
Tail.
Tail? What
Tail.
kind of tail?
Well, I'm not saying like a dog tail. That's like a cat.
But I feel like the only tail we could grow would be like
Monkey tail.
a
Surely.
monkey tail. But then would it have hair on it?
Yeah. Well, no.
No.
Ooh.
That's a big question.
I see what you
Would
mean.
the tail have hair on it?
Well,
And what?
yes, it'd have to, or else it would look weird. It'd be the same color as this.
So it'd be the same texture as the hair on your head.
I guess. So you would have like a really curly tail.
Just bushy tail.
Yeah, bushy. It.
I would have a tail. Like
That would be
if
cool.
someone said, "Do you want a tail?" I'd be like, "Sure."
Yeah, but I mean, it would be like you've watched Dragon Ball Z. You know what
Yeah,
I'm talking.
the
I'm thinking of
Saiyans.
Son Goku. Yeah,
Yeah.
like when he's
That's-
little.
That style of tail.
Yeah,
Like
it's like
the
you can
monkey
use
tail.
it as like a third appendage almost. You could
You could
grab
just-
stuff,
Yeah, you could hang from it.
dude. I would hang from a tail.
I'd just be hanging out.
Yeah, dude. I'd put a pull-up bar on my ceiling and then just like sleep like that, man. No,
Not a bat.
you know what I mean. But still, it would be great. If you could live one age forever, what would you choose?
I think you're just gonna be like 25.
Or like, yeah, something like that. You'd have to choose an age where you could legally rent everything.
Yeah, I feel like 25 is.
25 is a good median.
That's like where you peak as far as like
Physical.
natural development.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily physical. You can still work your body to be greater, but like naturally,
Yeah,
without you doing anything, that's where you like peak.
that's fair.
That's where you start. Like that's when you start degrading. The $20,000 for nothing, or $200,000 if you can pick the number you're thinking of between 1 and 5.
You say 3, clearly. Or 4. It's clearly 4. It's got to be 4. You go for it. You go for it, Wesley.
Why
4.
does it have to be 4?
It's 4. I'm telling you.
I'm going 2.
Yeah.
There's a 20% of you 10 times it. I feel like I'd just take the 20,000 for nothing.
Yeah, I definitely would, but it's fun to be like, it's 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tempting.
If you could come back as any living thing other than an animal, what would you choose?
If after dying you could come back as any living thing other than a human, what would you choose?
Yeah.
You said other than an animal.
It did?
You said that.
Oops.
Other than a human.
It didn't. Now it says human. What about half human? No, it's
Elf.
dude, that'd be cool. I'd be a dwarf. You know that. That's my thing.
Now we're just like into D&D races.
Dude, we totally could.
I'd
If you could
be a dark elf.
be any D&D race. Yeah.
I don't remember all the D&D races.
No,
but
any
I'll
of them
just
that
say
you know.
Dark elf.
I feel like anybody who says like high blood elf is just like
They're just pompous.
yeah, they're just a
Just like a jerk.
yeah.
I don't,
Close enough to the word I was gonna say,
Yeah.
but
Total Richard.
and then I could just be like a short alcoholic that's like stout and think about it.
Would you rather be 3 foot or 9 foot tall?
Well, either way, you have health problems. Like
Yeah, that's true.
so I don't really care. Oh, dude, domesticate
If
any
you could,
animal.
If you could domesticate any animal in the world to be your pet, what would it be?
Well, that's a good question. I think
Are we including extinct animals?
do two of them.
Just we're gonna do both. Okay.
Yeah,
So
one-
first one non-extinct.
Non-extinct. Like, I'd say a beaver or something like that. You know,
Dude, I'd want.
maybe a moose.
I think I'd want a bear.
Oh yeah, a bear. That's a
like,
good one.
He could be my couch.
Yeah, you gonna sit on him?
I'm gonna lay on him.
I want a black bear.
Like
no,
he's
no,
just,
no, a brown bear.
Like huge fluff. Yeah, probably like brown bear. Like he's just chilling and we're just hanging out. Like we're just on the couch.
You'd have to
or
feed
he's
him, though.
beside the couch because he probably would break the couch.
Dude, there's actually a family in Russia that adopted a bear. You know
I
that,
know.
right?
I know. I've seen,
Dude, I would totally do that.
dude, I would have a pet bear if I could.
That's a good point.
If I didn't
yeah.
think he'd kill me, totally a bear.
No, he's domesticated.
Yeah, he's fully domesticated.
He's like, he's your boy, Misha.
Yeah,
Come
we're
here.
we're just hanging out.
What's his name? Mine's definitely
Jake.
Jake. And Jake the bear and
From
Wesley the
State
human.
Farm.
Yeah. I would definitely call him Misha.
Misha.
It's a bit stereotypical,
Yeah.
but I like it.
Okay, so now let's do extinct animals.
Extinct? Well, do you just go with the biggest thing and then you just win no matter what situation?
Well, we're not saying for a fight, just to have
Yeah.
a cool pet.
What's it called? It's like it's a little thing. Like it's not a velociraptor, but it's like a turkey looking thing. And it's really scary looking. It's like super short. It's got claws like a velociraptor, but it has wings. And it doesn't fly, it kind of glides. You know what I mean? Like a squirrel.
Dodo bird.
I want a dodo for meat.
Uh,
I don't know. All I know is I played a game called Dino D-Day.
I would kind of want a saber-toothed tiger.
Really?
Because them saber teeth look awesome.
What about a mammoth? I could go for a mammoth.
How would you care for a mammoth?
How would you care for a saber-toothed tiger?
That's at least a little bit more manageable than a mammoth.
Is it, though?
Yes!
I just have an orchard.
It's just like a big cat. If it's fully domesticated.
Yeah, but a mammoth is just like a giant
I
elephant.
could
What's
be
your
playing
point?
with my huge cat and like grab its huge tooth.
Honk.
I'd like grab both its teeth and be like, there's my cat.
Who's a good cat? You're just like pulling it by the teeth and you're just like, it's
He's
not
just-
going to bite me.
He's just very upset about the situation.
He never likes it, but he likes you. So he's just
Yeah.
like, That actually, the extinct animals thing actually reminds me of a game I played.
Mhm.
I think you might have this game. It's called Dino D-Day.
I have no idea.
It is a very weird concept for a game. Basically,
What's the long neck dinosaur that eats
Bronto?
the leaves? The huge one that you could ride as a slide?
yeah, Brontosaurus.
Would have that bad boy as a pet?
Be like, hey, I'm going to go to your house. You get on top of him, he slides you
Slide,
like,
yeah.
But the entire concept of the game is like in 1940 or 30, the Nazis figured out how to like revive dinosaurs
Oh god.
and weaponized them.
Ah.
Oh yeah, it's really cool actually. Like it was not a very good game. Cool concept, decent game. Point being, the Nazis just had a ton of dinosaurs and the Americans had one and it was a triceratops with a machine gun mounted on its back. Pretty cool.
Sounds pretty American.
But they figured out, you know how in like World War II, Russia would stick grenades on the dogs?
yeah.
They did that with a dinosaur with like it was the one I was describing earlier. It's like the size of a turkey, maybe, or a little smaller. It's called a compy, I think. And they just strapped a grenade to it and would like send it running into crowds of soldiers. Not
Yeah.
I specify that. Oh, what is this? Are these riddles?
No, this is still
Hypotheticals.
Hypotheticals.
How you describe the blue color to a black?
the color blue to a blind man. You can't.
I mean, you could. You could be.
No one's done it successfully. I'm not gonna do it.
You could do it in the literature style where you're like soothing.
See, that's not gonna get us anywhere though.
It might.
People have tried. No one's been successful.
I mean, do you know a blind man?
No.
Have you tried?
But I know people have tried. What would you eat for your last meal?
I don't know. Like,
I'd have steak, like an awesome steak. I'd have an awesome pizza. I'd have some Mountain Dew, and I'd have a dessert. I would want like some amazing ice cream. I'd want a nice cookie.
you're going way
And
more
a
in depth
pound
than I
cake.
thought you would. I was just going to be like, man, I'll just let me go buy a rotisserie chicken from like Winn-Dixie
No,
and then
those-
like cook it into a good burrito with some peppers and onions.
There have been like some crazy complicated last meals because they used to let
People do that.
just
yeah.
like get whatever they want
Yeah.
for the last meal.
Now there's a budget, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What one piece of advice would you give to your younger self? You can
Take the
pick-
blue pill.
You can pick any age, but only one piece of advice.
What? Okay, you watched The Matrix, right?
It's been a while.
What was the red pill and what was the blue pill?
I don't know.
Okay, so I just jokingly said take the blue pill, and I don't know what that means. So,
Oh.
yeah.
I don't have a great piece of advice to give my younger self.
I'd probably say it's gonna suck, but you're gonna live through it.
I feel like anybody would say that to their younger self, though.
Yeah, but I mean,
Like,
just telling yourself.
Obviously, you lived through it.
I mean, telling yourself you're gonna come out on the other side perfectly fine would be good enough for me.
I feel like there are definitely a couple points in my life where I'd like to go and like look at myself and be like, "You're an idiot. Stop doing what you're doing."
That's fair. I don't know. Maybe it would be like certain moments I'd be like, try harder. Like, maybe I said something in the moment that I thought was okay. Like, I'd be like, get a little better control of yourself. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Or maybe I'd be like the perfect wingman for myself. Like, I know more about this person in the future. I'd be like, hey. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of options here.
Yeah, I feel like I would want to live quite a bit more before I would want to go back and give myself a piece of advice.
Yeah.
I feel like I want a little bit more XP before I do that.
I feel like now you would probably go back and tell yourself to be a little more open. You think?
Me?
Yeah, because, like,
No.
no? I was going to say just do more stuff. 'Cause, I mean, you definitely do more now than you did at the start of high school. Granted, you can drive.
I mean,
In my view, you do anyway.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't really feel like I do that much more. I'm happy with where I am, so I wouldn't really want to change what I did.
That's fair. Again, no harm in that. Just thinking from an outside perspective. I don't think there's anything I regret. Like, if anything bad happened in high school, I learned from it. You know,
That's
it's
true.
Like, if I tell myself to avoid it, I'll never learn the lesson.
That's the tricky part about like going back and telling yourself not to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, would you really want to not do it? Because like, if you're happy where you are now, then just let yourself do what you did.
Yeah. What are you going to say? Like, stay away from this person, and then you never learn from it, and you didn't know to stay away, and then you
just end up in another bad situation.
Yeah. It's like, sure, I avoided this,
But did I get into something worse?
Yeah. It's like maybe I don't know. It's like, how deep do we go into that? It's just this whole convoluted
It's a rabbit
thing.
hole.
Yeah.
Do we want to look at a riddle?
No, I'm enjoying these. These are fun. Well, there's the superpower one again. Here, I'm going to check to make sure it's still going. Yeah, we're good.
Sweet.
It's actually at an hour 40.
Sweet.
Hour
That's
30.
about what Reaper's at as well.
Yeah. We could probably do maybe one or two more and then just call it.
Unless you want to talk about languages for a little bit and then call it.
I feel like we could save that for another one. Since we've just been doing these the whole time, just call it the hypothetical episode.
We could still call it the hypothetical episode. I mean, it's not like we're going to fill up a whole episode with language talk.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like languages, like
Wow.
we have a lot to say, but it's not like we have an hour or two worth to say.
Yeah, but I mean,
Like,
I don't
just
know.
want to like talk about like what we're doing to learn our languages that we're learning.
Sure, if you want to, we can go ahead and just... Would you rather be totally bald or completely covered in hair? Sorry, I just thought that was funny.
If your life was like Seinfeld, what character would you be? When I read that, I thought about like anytime you said a joke, is there gonna be like a laugh track?
Oh.
Yeah, or like at the end of each day, like it's like at the end of an episode, it's just like good night, Dad.
Yeah. Or what if it was like what if you if your life could have like meme interjections, would you want it to?
Absolutely. If they're memes I thought was funny.
But what if it yeah, they're all ones you find funny, but like you have to see it from a third person perspective. So like you and I are talking.
Dude, imagine you like you go to ask a girl out and then you hear like the roundabout by S. It's like the to be continued.
That's what I was gonna
To
say.
be continued. It's like crap, and you just know it's gonna turn out bad.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was gonna say the same thing, but your girlfriend's breaking up with you, and she's like, "We have something
like,
to talk about."
To be continued. To be continued starts playing.
Or you hear like you're in the car with me, right? And I'm
Yeah.
driving down the road, and like I'm starting to come up to a turn, and you hear.
Deja vu.
Yeah. And I pull the cord and it's like deja vu. That's where I've seen this place before. That was just
okay. I don't. It's just like the thing we were talking about earlier today. We one time me and Garrett, I was driving and Garrett was in my truck.
oh come on.
And we were trying. It was like probably after we played Magic, or like we're going to play Magic.
It was after.
Okay.
It was like 1 a.m.
Yeah, and we're driving in like 40, 50 miles an hour, like not super bad traffic, but like there were cars on the road, like and I go, hey, is it good for me to get over? And he's like, yeah, and I like don't gently get over, like, cause like I said, there were cars on the road, and I like get over, and then he goes, oh, that's what you meant. That would be one of the moments where I'm like, is it good to get over? And he's like, yeah. And I go, and then it's to be continued.
What would be some of the stupid memes that your life could like they're funny, right?
Right.
But I feel like it would get annoying after a while. Like you would be sitting here playing a game on your computer and your dad would walk in and be like, are you winning, son? And you'd see it from a third person perspective.
Be like, yeah.
Guy would walk up to you in our school and he's talking about how he's like selling things to make money, and all of a sudden you see a third person view and it's him and it's like stonks. Like it would be funny, but like it would get annoying after a while. As long as it stayed to current up to date memes.
Yeah,
like,
they weren't stale memes. They were fitting to the time.
I think the deja vu, I would want deja vu and like the roundabout to like just because that would be so funny.
I feel like the roundabout meme like never gets outdated though.
Yeah, it's what about the like you walk into a room and you have like a bottle in your hand, but it goes to the third person perspective and you're like, oh, I know where this goes, and you just like walk into the room and it's like, I didn't do it, I did not hit her, and you just pour on the water bottle. You're like, oh, this is perfect, and people were just looking at you like,
hi, Mark.
Yeah. You have to do the meme though, like
you're forced to.
Yeah, like you know, if you don't do it, it's like locked in that perspective. So you just be staring at the door, but like your body would be over there. Oh, that'd be so bad. So you have to walk in and like, I didn't do it. I can't hit her. And then you're gonna be like, oh, hi, Garrett, or whoever.
Would you give up true love for $10 million? $100 million?
No. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't, but like,
$100 million is $100 million.
It'd sting a little bit.
Yeah, but then you'd have like the best thing. You could do one of two things with that, right? You could either use that as a flirt, or you could hold that over their head.
Okay, this is a good question, I feel like. You're on a first date with someone. They promise to answer the next 3 questions you ask completely honestly, leaving out no details. What questions do you ask?
I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't know the answer to this question.
So
am I
no?
What do you think about me?
You did not ask. I feel like what the first one you should definitely say is, are you over the other people in your life? That way you're not like a bounce. You know what I mean? They just use you. You get one.
That's a good question. That's a genuinely good one.
Yeah, like I'm not even going to be funny with these. These are like genuine things. Like,
I don't think I would ask one funny question. Like, I don't know what it would be.
What's your favorite color on Thursdays?
I feel you wouldn't ask them what their first impression of you was, or like what they think of you physically.
No, definitely not.
You wouldn't want to know.
I'd rather live in like
complete ignorance.
It's like if they tell me they find me super attractive and they're lying to me,
and you ask them,
what if it's like okay, it's your first date, right?
Yeah.
But like most people don't fall in love on the first date. They're just like, this person is attractive or they have a quality I like. Mm-hmm. If she told me I do not find you attractive, and then that could like completely ruin it. Like,
well, then like, how often do you have a successful relationship with someone who doesn't find you attractive though?
You get what I'm saying though. Like sometimes that comes over time. You know what I mean?
Sometimes, but like most of the time.
Do you want to risk throwing that out the window, the tiny like 20% chance? No.
If she answers, "Hey, I'm just
no
quality about you is interesting at all."
Then why is she there in the first place if no quality about you is interesting?
Free food.
That's something like a poor college girl would do.
It's true.
Heck, I would do that if I didn't have money. I'd be like,
If I was a poor college girl.
yeah. But like, what would your second question be? Like,
I have no idea. Like, I don't have any good questions.
are you a natural blonde?
I
You'd be like, if you could dye your hair any color, what would it be?
pro-life or pro-choice?
What political party do you belong to?
No, I don't care about political.
Do you truly believe in God?
That's a good question.
Yeah, but that could lead to some interesting.
What are your honest thoughts on God, or honest?
I feel like that would lead to a really long like sentence coming out of them, and I don't think I'd want to hear.
I would want to have that conversation with somebody if I was seriously considering a relationship with them.
You know what I mean? I'm saying like that could also lead to probably too much information. Assuming they've had a turbulent faith.
I feel like everyone has.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I wouldn't want to hear the whole magnum opus about it or whatever.
Magnum opus?
I don't know. That just sounded profound.
You wouldn't want to hear their life story on the first date?
No.
No, I don't.
That sounds annoying.
I agree.
I don't want them to be
I
like,
get what you're saying.
hey.
You don't need them to open up about all that. On the
I don't
first
want
date.
them to be like Richard.
You don't need all that on the first date.
I don't. Like, that's maybe like a fourth or like a third. You know what I mean?
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah, it's like, if I just look, at the first date,
I'm here to eat food and have a nice time.
Yeah, the first date, you're probably just looking at them and you're like not caring about their personality yet. And then that comes later, you know what I mean?
No. Us guys, our personality has to carry.
Yeah.
That's why ugly guys are funny.
Exactly. No wonder we're on a podcast about being funny.
Yeah, they could just listen to our jokes.
Yeah, I mean, we
Our
got
podcast about being funny.
Yeah.
That's what the podcast is about.
You know, you're not supposed to catch everything I say.
A podcast, the description, it's about
being funny.
Being funny.
You know, I get what I said.
Welcome
was
to
a
the Off Kilter podcast, where we're funny.
Hey, maybe we could be like the ironic funny, like,
not funny, like sad funny.
No, not like.
Oh,
like,
look, they tried.
It's not the part where it's like depressed funny, like someone's so depressed that the things they say are funny.
No, I'm just saying like it's like sad because they're trying to be funny.
Yeah, no. I was
Like a
thinking more
pity
like
laugh.
intentionally cringy funny. You know, like those kind of things, like
Oh,
Call Me Carson, if you will.
I'm not too familiar with Call Me Carson.
I thought the guy was an idiot, but then you like realize the guy's memery is like a
he's
level.
an idiot on purpose.
Yeah, it's the kind of like super memey kind of
Yeah.
stupid, and you catch on to it. You're like, this guy's a genius. It's
I understand what you're saying.
yeah. Okay. If you had to choose between a friendship or a relationship, which one would you choose? Friendship.
If both the friendship and relationship are equally great.
Oh.
I don't understand what this question is asking. Is it
Because
saying,
there's a lot needed to that.
I feel like there's no context. Is it like friendship or relationship with a particular person, or like
two different people,
or is it like I have a good friendship or I have this good relationship?
I assume it's two different people. So
Yeah.
it depends on the situation. Like if I've had this friend for 8 years and her a year, I'd take the friend.
Right.
But if I had them both for an equal amount of time, I would probably choose the relationship.
Yeah, I feel like there's not enough context in this
Yeah,
question.
it's too vague.
Not a good question.
Yeah. You go to a Star Wars theme dress up party, who would you go as? Jar Jar.
You go as Jar Jar?
It fits my personality.
I don't know if I could go in as anybody. I know.
You go as Padme.
Bro, I can't believe you just said that.
You can pull off a nice Padme.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but it's funny.
Oh, gosh. Oops.
Don't. Yeah. Hypothetically, if this ever happens, do not go as Padme. Please.
I'm definitely not.
Are you sure? What's the one thing in life you can't live without? Your heart.
I was about to say that. I was about to say yours.
If you have to wear a mask for the rest of your life, what would you pick?
That's very topical.
Yeah. You ever played
This one.
Yeah, you still got that on your neck.
Yep.
I didn't even notice. I don't. What mask? I feel like is a bit vague here. Like a literal mask.
How much? Yeah, how much of a mask?
Mask? Are we talking? Like if we're thinking the tragedies mask.
I'm thinking it. You cannot see your face.
Yeah. I forget what it's called, but there is like you played Majora's Mask. I think you said you haven't.
I have not.
Okay, that's an old Nintendo game. Basically, there's a fox. It's like a yellow fox. It's something in Japan. It's like Ninetales, but not.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's called a Kicha or something like that.
Yep.
Huh?
I said yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm saying, like, do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. Point being, Keaton. That's what it was called. It's just a yellow little mask. I was like, I put that on my face. It looked weird, but I feel like people would just get used to it. Or I could wear the Goblin Slayer helmet.
Oh, yeah.
I could do that and just be like, Suka. I see. Yes. Be incredibly vague and like short word answers and
I don't
just
know
be
what
mysterious.
kind of mask I'd wear.
I'd definitely go in Goblin Slayer.
Would you wear the rest of the armor?
I have to.
You should just be a guy walking around in armor for no reason.
Yeah.
All right.
And then when they question me, I'd be like, why are you wearing armor? In case I need it. Short answers.
I don't know what kind of mask I'd wear.
I feel like you could wear a helmet, like an actual medieval helmet right now, and just claim it's your mask and you could pass it off.
I feel like nobody would question it.
There are people that are wearing paintball helmets places, so I mean...
That's funny.
Yeah.
If you change one part of your appearance, what would it be?
All of it.
All of it.
I'm kidding. Wait, you missed a good one. If you could torture someone with music, what is one track you would play that would repeat on end?
Never Gonna Give You Up.
No. Oh,
Never gonna hit those notes.
Oh. Oh, Holy Night.
Yeah.
No,
that'd be funny.
I feel like I'd pick Through the Looking Glass.
You mean,
Is that not what it's called?
I think it's just called Looking Glass.
Oh.
I like that song.
It's a good song, but like only playing that loud, like screaming
I would play
noise.
like a Froggy Fresh song.
What if you just played something that's like...
You play Froggy Fresh is the baddest on repeat forever.
Oh, no. Oh, let's just move on. No.
That would be so funny.
That sounds awful. I hate it. What is your hand weapon of choice in the zombie apocalypse? You're going to say katana, aren't you?
What's your hand weapon?
Yeah.
Baseball bat, axe, lead pipe.
Katana, surely, right? You're going to say katana?
I mean, I'm not that much of a weeb that it's like insta katana.
Well, katana would be strong. I'm not
Katana
saying that
would be a good
weeb.
answer.
I think I'd do a Zweihander or a bastard sword.
I feel like well, no, a spear can't really chop a head off. I feel like you want something that can chop a head off.
Well, if you do a spear, you just stab him in the neck.
But they don't die.
And that's fair. It's a zombie.
Yeah,
Then a bastard sword, yeah.
Or there's like a it's also Japanese. It's like a spear with a like curved blade. It's not a spear, but it's like a long handle, curved blade.
Oh, I've seen those before.
So like you could keep your distance and then like still
have
a nice head chop.
Yeah, it's like a
or
like
just
a sickle.
or just a halberd.
Halberd would be nice, but halberds are heavy.
Yeah,
that's why I was thinking
like for horseback combat.
I mean, you could still carry it.
Yeah,
you'd be like super buff after swinging that for a week.
The Dragon Slayer sword from Berserk.
How about a dragoon weapon?
A dragoon.
I think it's like a super long spear with a weird ending.
Oh.
I don't know. What about I mean, a hatchet or an axe wouldn't be that bad.
I feel like axe would be a little too unwieldy. I feel like you'd get a good zombie chop, and then like on the recovery, another zombie would be getting you.
Yeah, it's too heavy. Yeah. That's why I was saying bastard sword, because it's light and it's one or two handed. I think that's interesting though. That's why it's called that, because it can be either wielded one or two handed. So that's like 1.5 handed. So like it's weird. It's a bastard.
Interesting.
Yeah, sword knowledge.
Sword knowledge.
If you, I don't know of anyone's life I'd rather take.
If you could choose the life of any person in the world, living or dead, who would you choose? Yeah, I wouldn't want to take someone's life.
I'm fine being me.
Yeah,
take someone's life. Jeez, that sounds so bad.
That's what it is.
I don't know, but it sounds like you're killing them.
Would they then be you?
No.
No, they just.
Well, it says living or dead, so I assume you just born into their body. Like,
but would they be born into your body?
Maybe. But, like, if you chose Mozart, I mean...
Well, I know it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
But hypothetically, Mozart would be born in 2001.
Yeah, that's definitely weird. If you were to lose all 5 of your senses, how would you know if you were alive? Pain. That's touch. Dang it. Isn't there, like...
Magnetism.
That's what I was gonna say. You'd be like...
you would still be conscious.
Empathy?
Yeah. And
would empathy fall into the feeling of touch?
No.
Surely not.
It's a mental thing.
Yeah, but...
And you would still be conscious. You'd still have thoughts.
But...
Assuming that you're not...
No, you wouldn't... you would have thoughts, but what would your thoughts be of?
I don't know.
Because you can't hear. And you can't touch.
But you would have thoughts. You would, like, undoubtedly have thoughts. I don't know.
What? So that's
I
the
don't
question.
know. I don't know.
That's like say like how blind people born blind think in objects and like hand shapes or sign language.
Well, I mean, nobody, like, our raw brain doesn't think in a language. We translate it into a language. So you would have thoughts. I don't know what they'd be like.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, like a baby has thoughts.
Hungry.
Oh,
I mean, that's about the knowledge. Hybrid animal of any two species. Oh, dude. That would be great. What would you do? What would you stick together? Cat, dog.
bro.
You seen that show, right? You haven't seen Cat, dog?
Cat girl.
Wesley wants a Neko.
No, I don't know what kind of hybrid animal.
Hey, I'd go for an Okami.
What's an okami?
Or I always forget the real word. I always say Okami. It's like half dog person.
Dog person?
No. It's weird to think about. Maybe what's a creepy looking thing? Like what's something you can make that looks terrifying? Actually, you know what? I'd just make werewolves. Half dog, half people.
What if you bred together a bat and a dolphin and made a flying dolphin?
That'd be terrifying. Or like an aquatic bat.
Dude, a flying dolphin that, like, you just, like, see it flying in the night. It's like making the dolphin screeching noise. It's just flying through the sky.
That would be terrifying. What would it eat? It doesn't have, like...
It's a flock of dolphins.
Would they call dolphins or something? Dats.
Dats. Yeah, it would be
Look at all the dats.
There's dats everywhere.
It's a fruit dat. Dude, what would there really be like a bottlenose dat?
Vampire dat.
It sucks blood. Dude, you imagine okay, like
it kidnaps children.
Are we assuming like it has the body of a dolphin but it's the size of a bat with bat wings?
I'm assuming it's like a smaller dolphin, like still very large.
Oh. Cuz I was imagining a dolphin that's bat size.
A smaller dolphin with like the head of a dolphin, but the jaw is altered a little bit to be a little more carnivorous.
Well, aren't dolphins omnivores?
I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
I'm just saying what a dat is. It has wings.
Can you imagine waking up in the night? Well, like, okay, in your case, it probably wouldn't work as well because they'd be too big. But mine being the size of a bat, but like dolphin shaped with bat wings. Assuming they suck blood, you can wake up to one like sucking your blood. In the
Oh no, it's a dat.
Or you wake up in the middle of the night and there's like, you know how like little bite marks, you know, it'd be like 2 little teeth holes or whatever. Mm-hmm. Assuming it's got like a dolphin, like a bottlenose mouth still, there'd be like 6 little puncture holes. And just like in a mouth shape, like, what the crap was that?
I think we've made a terrifying creation.
Yeah.
A dat.
A dat. All right, yeah. I'd say we're just about good there.
Yeah. We'll talk about languages on the next one.
Let's not put all our eggs in that yet. We don't know what we're going to do.
All right.
We'll figure it out. I mean, that's what we usually do so far.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Off Kilter podcast.
Welcome to...
Please leave... What?
It sounds like you're... Welcome to National Public Radio.
Welcome to NPR.
Yeah.
What if we thanks for listening to OKP. Come back next time. Leave your I completely butchered this at this point.
Tell us what to talk about in the comments.
Leave your message after the beep. Boop.